In the U.S., stock index futures pointed to a flat open today as President Donald Trump tours the Middle East on his first foreign trip. President Trump began his trip in Saudi Arabia over the weekend, and he is in Israel today in an attempt to reinvigorate the stalled Israeli-Palestinian peace process. He is expected to meet leaders from both Palestine and Israel. Trump will then fly on to Italy, the Vatican, and Belgium during his time abroad. In earnings news, Booz Allen Hamilton and the Cheetah Mobile are expected to report before the bell, while Allegiant and Knudsen are also expected to report. No major data is expected to be released on Monday. Now, in the central bank sphere, a number of U.S. Federal Reserve members are expected to speak today. Minneapolis, our Fed president, is set to speak at the Opportunity and Inclusive Growth Institute conference, with Fed Governor Lael Brainard also set to deliver remarks. Elsewhere, Philadelphia Fed President Patrick Harker will be in Philadelphia, where he will be commenting on the link between physical and economic well-being at the Jefferson College of Health Professions and Jefferson College of Pharmacy commencement ceremony. In Asia, equities are traded mostly higher today following the continued recovery of Wall Street last week and as investors digest yet another missile test out of North Korea at the weekend. The Nikkei 225 closed 0.45%. Australia's ASX 200 added 0.76% to finish at 5,771.2, driven largely by its energy and material sub-indices. South Korea's benchmark Kospi index shrugged off news of the North Korean missile tests and gained 0.68%. The Hang Seng index jumped 0.91%, but markets on the mainland were in the red. The Shanghai Composite closed down 0.48%, and the Shenzhen Composite tumbled 13.75%. In Japan, Toshiba's U.S. nuclear arm Westinghouse Electric indicated that it would lock out 172 union members as contract negotiations had reached an impasse. Toshiba shares shed 1.08% to close at 230 yen a stock. And to commodities market now. OPEC and other oil producers are on course to agree an extension of supply cuts at a meeting on Thursday, with Saudi Arabia saying most participants are on board with a plan to rein in a global supply glut. Saudi Arabia's energy minister said on Sunday that extending the supply cuts by a further 9 months until next March and adding 1 or 2 small producers to the pact should reduce oil inventories to their 5-year average, a key gauge for OPEC to monitor the success of the initiative. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, Russia and other producers agreed last year to cut production by 1.8 million barrels per day for 6 months starting from January 1.
We believe that a continuation with the same level of cuts, plus potentially adding 1 or 2 small producers if they wish to join, will be more than adequate to bring the balances, the 5-year balances, to where they need to be by end of the first quarter of 2018.
Meanwhile, oil prices rose today, supported by reports that an OPEC-led supply cut would not only be extended into next year, but might also be deepened in order to tighten the market and proper prices. Brent crude futures were up 25 cents from their last close at $53.86 per barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were back above $50 per barrel, trading at $50.62, up 29 cents. And gold prices edged lower today as Asian stocks gained, although political worries surrounding U.S. President Donald Trump are expected to keep supporting appetite for the metal as a safe haven asset. Spot gold was down 0.2% at $1,252 per ounce. It rose about 0.7% on Friday. U.S. gold futures were up 0.1% at $1,252 an ounce. Away from the markets, and here in Nigeria, Standard & Poor's has assigned its B long-term and B short-term global scale counterparty credit ratings on the UBA group. The international rating agency says UBA's market position was supported by its good franchise in the corporate and retail segments in Nigeria, as well as geographic diversification with operations in 19 African countries. S&P expects the lender's earnings to be resilient despite the economic slowdown in Nigeria, and believes the bank's capital and earnings under its risk-adjusted capital and earnings framework will remain moderate over the next 12 to 18 months. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back in a moment. To stay with us.